I bow to all the seekers of truth. You are all here to seek the truth. One has to realize that truth is what it is. We have to know the truth. Truth does not have to know us. And truth lies within us, within our being, and the instrument of knowing that truth is what he has described it to you today. Now, if you have got your eyes, you can see clearly that this is a white color. You don't have to pay to your eyes for that. That's the truth. You all see the same thing. If you are passing through a dirty lane, it's obnoxious. And you know it's a dirty lane. You are passing. But a dog does not know that truth. A horse does not know. They can all pass through that without feeling anything about it. So you are at a higher level than all the animals put together, all the living things that you see. You are at a higher place. So, what is the purpose of our being human beings? The only purpose is to know the truth. Many people say that truth is love and love is truth. People don't understand. At human level, it's a very elusive, deceiving sentence. Maybe love may not be the truth, truth may not be love. But when they say truth is love, they mean to say that the all-pervading power of God's love, which is in a subtle form, which runs all our living processes, is the truth. All of them, all the great scriptures have described that all-pervading power of God exists. You have never felt it. So, you should keep your minds open about it. Not to close your minds, it's unscientific, I think, to close your minds. And if there is something existing like that, why should we not know it? It is our birthright to know about that truth which pervades all over. Scientifically it is said that we have evolved from amoeba stage. Why have we evolved from amoeba stage to human stage? And have we reached our last stage? Have we reached our absolute stage? Are we at an absolute point? We are not. The proof is we are in a chaos. We do not know what is right, what is wrong. We cannot say this is right and this is wrong. All of us do not say the same thing. Then that's not the truth, because we have not reached the stage where we feel the truth, all of us the same. But our idea of truth is very different. I have already told you it's not an idea. Truth is what it is. It's the existence of truth. So some people think that truth is in belonging to certain faiths or believing into certain groups or into some fanaticism, or could be some sort of a false guru who does not know the truth itself. But one should know one thing for definite, that if we have to evolve, it has to be done through some living process. And the living process cannot be explained but can be experienced. Now in the human body, anything foreign that goes is thrown out. But when a lady conceives, that foreign body is nourished, nurtured and thrown out at a right point. Nobody can explain how it happens. It can be explained what is the mechanism that works it out. In the same way, one can explain the mechanism that works out your rebirth. Where you know the truth, and the truth dawns upon you that you are the Spirit. You are the reflector of God. This is the truth. You have to know. For that, there is a mechanism within us placed beautifully. Of course, doctors may not know about it for the time being. They know a little bit. There's the parasympathetic nervous system, they call it, about which they don't know much. Now within us lies, as you see, the three channels, one on the left, one on the right, and one in the center of the autonomous nervous system. And these three channels represent on the left side the emotional side, the desire side. And the right channel is for the action of these emotions and desires. And the central path is for coordinating and cooperating. All the problems that human beings have are caused by their imbalances. Very simple thing it is. If you go to the roots of everything, this is the knowledge of the roots, of our roots. They are very simple problems. Because when you have imbalances, when you go too much to the left or too much to the right, you create imbalances. And these imbalances cause physical, mental, emotional, spiritual problems. Of course, there could be also psychosomatic, both combined, like emotional combined with physical also. But the simple thing is that you go into an extreme. In anything, the human nature is such that we must go to the extremes. Like one gentleman used to smoke a lot. When I started coughing, It was a no smoking zone. I requested the gentleman, sir, if you don't mind, I have to give a speech in the evening, can you stop smoking? I said, no, I can't. I kept quiet. So he has a double problem. First is the problem that he cannot get over his habit. That is his left side. And the another problem is the right side, that he cannot get over his ego. Such combinations could be there. But basically the problem is that you cannot remain in the center, in the balance. Sometimes you go to one extreme, from there you go to another extreme. Like some people who are extremely dominating, very arrogant, hot-tempered, suddenly become very sullen, quiet, depressed. Half of the life they impress other, and half of the life they get depressions. Such personalities we have all around us and within us. Now how to keep in the center is the problem nowadays. Because there are so many alterations to our attention all the time, we have to alter it. Today you have to say TV, then there's a politics going on, then this is going on, that is going on. Our mind is all the time changing from one to another, skipping from one to another. We are living in a very hectic type of world where our attention is not at all steady in the center. It cannot remain. At this juncture, thank God, the modern Sahaja Yoga was born. I was found out. Formerly, one or two persons used to get realization. Very few people used to get realization. At the beginning of the tree of life, I should say. But I thought in those days of complete chaos and such a lot of pressures on people. They have no time to go to Himalayas and work it out. You have to have something very instant. But there was a problem with it. Supposing you try to enlighten people and they just get a wee bit, then what happens? Formerly they used to cleanse the body, everything, for years together and ultimately give the realization to one person, good for nothing. Nobody understood any incarnations, great prophets or saints, because they talked of some another world. That's why they crucified Christ or gave poison to Muhammad Sahib, did all kinds of things all over the world. With Sahaja Yoga, this mechanism is activated, where you have got this Kundalini, the power that manifests your self-realization. She is a power, I call it she, because it's the mother's power. She is your mother. She gives you birth, so she is your mother. And she is your individual mother. She takes all problems upon herself. Every time I have been giving lectures, people ask, but we have read in such and such book that Kundalini rising gives troubles. I just don't know. Either there are negative people who are trying to keep you away from reality, or maybe they don't know what Kundalini is. She is your mother, waiting all these days within yourself this power. In 3.5 coils, because it's some mathematics about it. And she is activated, then she rises. Just like a primule in a seed. As soon as you put the seed in the Mother Earth and nourish it with little water, in the same way with little love, the divine love, she is activated and she starts rising. With your naked eyes, in some people who have obstructions in the lower chakras, you can see clearly the pulsation at the triangular bone. With your naked eyes, you can see it clearly. Imagine a bone pulsating like a heart. And you can see the rising, and you can see its obstruction where it stops. Supposing you are a liver patient, it will go to your liver first, informing that first liver should be corrected. Or maybe if you are a great seeker, then she shoots off, comes out of your fontanelle bone area, but again she descends back to the problems where she has to attend. It's a very practical thing to understand. Sahaja Yoga, you cannot pay for it. It's nonsense. How can you pay for anything that is living? When you pay for God, or somebody says I am God or this and that, you pay money. I have been telling you, I've been here 4 times before. Every year I was telling you, you can't pay for God. God doesn't understand money. This is your headache. Why do you want to pay for anything that is living process? But nobody liked me at that time. To such an extent that in England they told me that Anglo-Saxon brain cannot understand anything without money. I was surprised, who has made this brain? God has made or somebody else? You cannot pay for it. That is the first criteria. It's your own right to have it. It's Sahaja, born with you. And when she rises, she pierces through all these 6 chakras. The one chakra is below her, which guards the movement of the Kundalini completely, and rises through 6 chakras and pierces through the 6th chakra, giving you a cool breeze of the Holy Ghost. Now no one knows who is Holy Ghost. Holy Ghost is the power of God, is the desire of God, and she is reflected as Kundalini in the triangular bone. That desire is the pure desire within us. All our desires are impure because they never give us satisfaction. Economics says that in general, wants are not satiable. So now we have got the knowledge about the mechanism, but it must work. For example, in this hall you see beautiful lights are there, and you must have just put one switch and everything must have manifested. But there's a mechanism behind it, a history behind it. All these centers are the milestones of our evolution. The last one is this. Is the limbic area, which is called as Sahasrara. If you cut the brain horizontally, you can see as if you have cut a lotus. And the inner part is a vacuum, which is the limbic area. So this Kundalini enters into the limbic area, opens from both the sides this calyx, or the outside of this lotus, and pierces through that. Now what is the calyx that we have formed? Are 2 balloon-like growths within us. One is the ego. When we work, when we do anything, we always think we have done it. Now just see what we have done. It's dead to dead. For example, from some tree they must have made this platform, which was a dead tree, made another dead thing. From something dead they have made the chairs. Now if you are sitting on the chairs, you can't sit on the ground. The chair sits on our head. Wherever you move, you have to take the chair with you, otherwise you can't sit. So this matter is trying to overpower us. That's all. This is the ego that builds within us. We have done nothing but just changed forms from dead to dead. Here I am talking about transforming a human being into a new human being, into a human being where there is spiritual light. In Sanskrit language, a person who is a realized soul is called as Dvijaha, means born twice. And also a bird is called as a Dvijaha, meaning the bird also comes as an egg and then becomes the bird. In the same way, we get a transformation, and that transformation brings us to a position where we are in absolute status, in absolute condition. When the Kundalini passes through Agya Chakra here, this one, is the center of Christ, she pushes down both these ego and superegos, which you see the two balloon-like structures. As a result of that, we get a soft bone opened up again, as you had in your childhood, and you feel thoughtless. There's no thought. If you want to think, you can think, but nobody is going on inside all the time. You feel the peace within yourself. And when she pierces through completely, then you feel the cool breeze coming out of your head. And also if this center is all right, you can feel the cool breeze around. As a result of that, the centers, which are like this, we can say, the centers which have moved because of our left and right movement on the sides and have broken the connection with the whole, again go back to their original positions and they get nourished. And the energy that was exhausted in them starts flowing. That's how our physical, mental, emotional and spiritual being is corrected. Most of the diseases can be cured with this Kundalini awakening. But I am not curing you. You are curing yourself. Only thing, your medicine is lying within you, which has to rise and give you this. This is all yours. For which? Why should you pay anyone? Why should you feel obliged? I am just a catalyst. If this happens to you, it's a very great thing, because then your hands will speak, as Muhammad Sahib has said, that at the time of resurrection, your hands will speak. Hands start speaking means what? That on your fingertips, you can feel the 7 centers, and you can see in another person what's wrong with the other person, what's wrong with yourself. Now only if you know what is the decoding is and how to cure a particular center, finished. Don't have to do anything else but this much. Of course, in some people who are mentally, physically, emotionally, especially spiritually, are sick, it takes little time to settle down. Though you might get your realization today, but the Kundalini has to be brought back and to be settled there. Like a little sapling, you have to look after it in the beginning. And then you absolutely become the master. I have seen people who had their realization as late as 84 or 85 are today great masters of Sahaja Yoga. It's very surprising. Now, these masters of Sahaja Yoga don't stand on their heads, don't do abnormal things. You don't have to do much jogging or anything. Your body comes to that position what you need. For example, somebody needs more water, so it's all right. Somebody doesn't need more water, it's all right. But certain kind of exercises which are needed to improve the condition of the particular chakras can be done. But the main thing is to keep the Kundalini here so that the spirit which is in your heart has a seat here, is all the time kept enlightened. That's the main job. Now the biggest problem I face today is this, that in India people are quite capable to know who is a real master and who is not. Thank God we are not so rich to throw our money for realization. So we don't have these false gurus there. They all come to Australia or to America. Wherever there is money, they are coming down. But the main problem, I don't mind, there are lots of thugs in this world, you see. Smugglers are there, it's all right. And there are many people who are cheated also. But the main thing is they attack the Kundalini. They attack the central part. I have known many people getting cancer because they have been to some gurus, because it is a psychosomatic thing. Even AIDS could be due to certain things. I had cured one fellow who was doing TM. I had cured him completely. Doctor said that he is completely cured of AIDS. But again he started going to some TM fellow, again he got it. And he died. It was in Australia. Then I gave it up. Because you get frustrated with such people. When I told him not to go to that person, particular person, then again he went down to that person. Because these people are using, all these false gurus, are using some sort of spirits to keep you bound to them. So that all that you have, your money, your properties, everything they get. Their main purpose, the honesty of purpose is that they want money. That's all. Money they can have, but they can't have money unless and until they mesmerize you or involve you into something nonsensical. I have seen people getting into trouble very much if they have had wrong gurus. And I am surprised. These gurus have given them nothing. They have taken all their money. They have taken all their wisdom. They have lost their jobs. But still they are sticking on to them like leeches. In London we have people from TM itself, I would say. There are people in London who are recluses, absolutely. They are suffering from some sort of a secret disease they can't explain. Some of the politicians are suffering, but still they are going on and on and on. And I have been telling openly about it. Nobody listens to me. It happened when I told them in 83 or 84 that this disease is going to come to America. They didn't listen to me. I told on the television from San Diego, from Los Angeles, from San Francisco, from New York. But nobody bothered about it, and today when I go there, they all say, Madam, we are in it. And you get disgusted with them because they are so much now weak that they cannot get over all those attachments they have had. Is the attack of the negative. Tremendous negativity is working out that you don't get your realization, that you don't achieve your highest. So much of negativity everywhere I find, and I just don't know how I am going to help all of you. First of all, you must understand that all these wrong things have rendered nothing to you and nothing to anybody else. So many cases of cancer have been cured by surgery. We are making now a big file out of it. Recently, the Delhi University has given us a PhD for doctors for research in Sahaja. Even Cambridge may do it. There are so many doctors busy to find out how Sahaja has cured so many types of cancers, livers, diabetes. Already papers have been published about how the physical health of the people has improved by doing Sahaja. Blood pressures, tensions, all these things vanish. These Sahajogis don't need an abnormal life. They wear normal dresses, they live like normal, decent, of course decent people, not like cutting this part of the hair, that part of the hair, then putting tar on your head. The other day I said, we are not hippopotamus to do all these things. All sorts of abnormal things they give up. They become sensible, serene, good citizens. They have good wives. We had 71 marriages this year, and you'll be happy to know that all of them are very successful. And they have very great children born to them. Children won't be born to people who are all the time fighting among themselves, wasting their life. Only bad people will be born to them who can bear all that. But good children are born to surgeries. I am so happy to see in Melbourne, we had a very good report from the government for our schools that whatever they proclaim that they are. How many schools can do that? Though it's rather difficult here to run a private school. In all fields, Sahaja is showing good results. Because once a person is transformed, most of your problems will drop out. You are such a satisfied person, you will not be a dishonest politician. You will not be a dishonest preacher. You will not be a bad father, bad mother, and not arrogant children. A beautiful society is established now. In Sydney we have lots of people, in Melbourne also. Only thing is you have to come in the center, and to come in the center you have to get your Kundalini awakened, free of cost. It sounds fantastic. It sounds out of the blue, normally. But nothing so fantastic. Say for example, now you have got a TV here, but in Indian villages they have not seen the TV. Now if you take the TV there and say you can see everything, whatever is happening in the whole world, they will say, oh, what are you telling us? Stories. How can it be? Then you put it to the mains and it works. In the same way, you are made beautifully within yourself. Human beings are the greatest computers. The greatest knowledgeable things, the whole knowledge rests within them. All that is within has come out and has become the so-called knowledge, but they become the knowers. And when it happens, suddenly you find dynamic things happening. We had a boy in Portugal who was doing little pottery work. He came to Sahaja today. He's a very big potter, earning lots of money. We had some people who were just used to paint ordinarily. They have become very great painters and earning quite a lot in your country. You just become dynamic and things work out in every way possible. In this short time, whatever is possible for the introduction I have told you, but tomorrow in details I'll tell you all that can work out with Sahaja. May God bless you all.